Welcome back to the Prophets of IT, the podcast where leaders and innovators share the hard-earned lessons that most people learn too late. I'm your host, Jim Punzenberger, former MSP owner, creator of the Managed Prospecting System at managedprospectingsystem.com, and author of $0 Advertising Strategies. If you've hit the referral plateau, are tired of feast or famine cycles, check us out. We're the only IT marketing agency bold enough to let you write your own guarantee for us. Check out managedprospectingsystem.com after the show. Today's guest is somebody who knows what it takes to bridge two very different worlds, tech vendors and restaurants. Todd Vahlsing is the founder of Bridgepoint Ops, and he's built successful teams everywhere from restaurants to enterprise account management. Fun fact, when he's not building businesses, he's rescuing dogs, which I think I see one in the background right now.
You do.
And I heard there's, how many? 4 dogs?
There's 4 dogs in the house right now. Yep.
Wow, that's must make a busy household.
It does, but it's a fun household.
I have only one, and my one dog keeps me busy, so I can only imagine with 4. So Todd, let's start with your background. You've been winning teams at every level from restaurants to enterprise sales. What along the journey did you learn about leadership and growth?
Yeah, it's a great question. And thanks for having me on, Jim. This is a lot of fun to do, and I'm honored to be on your show. I would say, I tell everyone I started in the restaurant industry when I was 2 years old, just to make myself feel better about my age. But really, I started working in restaurants when I was 15 years old, and I started working for McDonald's, the local operator in Grafton, Wisconsin. Um, and every time I went in was another opportunity in leadership. Starting as a crew person, looking at the grounds up from the grounds up, and then getting promoted quickly into management. I worked as a manager through high school and college, and in college, I got my degree in economics, but loved the business so much that I stuck with McDonald's. I went to work for another operator up in the Appleton, Wisconsin area. And I built teams, restaurant teams first. I went to Hamburger University. I was a store manager, and then I became a district manager. I fell into IT leadership in 1999. And yes, that does make me old, but that's when Y2K came about.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and Y2K was one of those things that everyone was freaking out that their computers weren't going to work on
Right.
January 1st, 2000. So all of the computers needed to be changed. And I managed all of that for the operator and made sure the installations were good. But that then just put me into the position of the director of information technology for the, at that time, 17 store operator. And I developed a reputation with the McDonald's Corporation as somebody who understood technology in the restaurants, understood how to deploy it. So I started working with the corporation to test technology, to test software and hardware, and then help them develop what they called their OTP program, which was an operations technology person, essentially a self-support program for restaurants to have a trained person in the restaurants that can troubleshoot technology. Because one thing is sure, from the time I started in McDonald's in 1982 to to today, technology has become synonymous with operations.
Yes.
When I started with McDonald's, we had a, a very rudimentary POS system that you basically was a glorified calculator.
Hmm.
You still wrote tickets out and you had to send them back to the grill
Yeah.
area by hand for special orders. We didn't take credit cards. We didn't take credit cards until I want to say in the 1990s, which is just will blow people's mind away. You had a single window drive-through, and now today you have all of this technology sitting in the restaurant. Somebody
Yeah.
needs support it. And when it breaks, there is no operations. So it became a very interesting field for me. And as I was working with the corporation and helping them develop these programs, I was sat on some of their leadership councils. Uh, I was a customer of PAR Technologies, and they noticed me and asked me if I wanted to come work for them. And at the age of 50, I made the career change from restaurant management and people development all the way to, okay, now I'm going to go into this corporate job, which at first was the technical account manager for McDonald's. And then they promoted me into global account management for McDonald's. So that was my first foray into sales and sales account management. And from there, I kept getting promoted and taking on more people and teams. Again, building teams that knew how to do their jobs and applying the leadership lessons that I got from the restaurants.
Uh-huh.
Um, when you lead and you lead in specific ways, my leadership philosophy has continued to develop and evolve, but it's got some very core tenets. Your team always needs to know where they stand with you. Your team always needs you to tell them what you mean without being mean about the way you say it. Your team needs you to take the bullets for them when something goes wrong, and when something goes right, you need to be able to give the praise to your team, not to yourself. There's some very easy leadership lessons that are applicable, that and that's why I was successful, because I could lead people. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't matter what we were selling. And we ended up having all 450-ish accounts from PAR reporting into my structure, all of the existing hardware, all of the existing software, which included POS, back office, payments, loyalty, and online ordering. So my team had to know a lot of things. I had to know a lot of different softwares, but
Mm-hmm.
it really became about us being effective in making sure we did the deployments, we did the things that we were supposed to be doing. Um, and I ended up my career at PAR as the interim CRO, and you know, then there was a reorg, and I decided,
You just
okay,
decided to move
we're
on.
it's time to move on. We ended up with I ended up with 3 months off there where I kind of rode my bike around Wisconsin, and hooked up with a go to market, or well, a startup AI company. Uh, and what they had was a great product idea, but a lot of these tech companies coming into the restaurant space don't understand restaurants. They don't understand how to sell to restaurants.
Uh-huh.
And they've got some very specific ideas on how things ought to do, and they don't understand the restaurant buy cycle. Um, Restaurant economics are
Mm-hmm.
very different than selling most B2B. And you have to understand the value props. You have to understand what the people are going through in the restaurants, and you have to understand what the end of the end user is. The buyer is very different than the end user, and you have to
Yep.
develop products for the end user. So, I we parted ways after a short while, and since then I founded Bridgepoint Ops, which has really been a labor of love in terms of my passion is to help the people in the restaurant get good usable technology that either makes or saves the operator money, or makes the crew person or manager's job easier, or makes the guest experience better. And
Yes. So Todd,
there's a lot of cool technology out there. Not all of it fits in the restaurant budget right now. And AI is one of those things that's coming. There's lots of interesting things going on. So, I'm really trying to help either restaurants that are looking to scale, or tech vendors who are looking to break into the restaurant market or understand the restaurant market better.
so what are some things that make tech specific to restaurants different than tech in like just an other small and medium-sized businesses or a corporate environment?
Yeah, great question, Jim. So there's a lot of things that make it different. A lot of it is really about simplicity, simple to use, simple to deploy. Restaurateurs got into the business of being restaurateurs not because they wanted to be technologists, because they wanted to serve customers food and make money doing it. So restaurant margins are very thin. They're if you do a study of the unit economics of the restaurants, on the outside, vendors are looking and saying, oh, they're making all sorts of money. But on the inside, they're making their money, especially in quick service restaurants, on volume, not on individual visits. So, there's a lens there that they look at. Restaurants also, they take a long time to buy. They take a long time. They want to see the prove it to me, not the promises. So, show me case studies, show me pricing that really is effective for my business, as opposed to, maybe just taking a leap of faith that this is going to make it better. Restaurants can be there's two different types of restaurants. There are those who are very tech forward. They want to be on the cutting edge, and those innovators are fun to work with, but they're expecting some discounting on the front end to be those innovators. And then there's those who are really the laggards, the ones that are going to look at it and say, yeah, that looks like a fun technology. Talk to me in 5 years when it's actually working right. And I think the other part is too, Jim, a lot of tech vendors come out and they give customers, they overpromise and they underdeliver through a kind of an MVP mentality. Oh, we can do that. We don't do it now, but we can. And they build product that really doesn't work as advertised for the customers right off the bat. In the restaurant industry, especially with the crew people in those restaurants, if you bring in a new technology and it doesn't work right off the bat, you will lose them. And they are the ones that are the end customers. So, if you bring something that's half baked, you're going to be in trouble. So I always say under promise and over deliver on what your features you're going to bring to the restaurants.
That makes sense. So if somebody's listening is in the restaurant industry and wants to lever up their tech, or maybe if they're tech and want to get into the restaurant industry and get your help as a fractional leader, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is to go to my website. It's bridgepointops.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to have a chat with people and see how I can help them. I'm accepting clients right now, and I'm excited to bring my passion for the restaurant and tech industries together to bridge that gap and help the operators and the technology people talk to each other.
Sounds like a very exciting time.
It is.
Well, Todd, thanks for joining us today and sharing your insights. So if you're in the restaurant space and need a partner, check out bridgepointops.com. And I'm sure you can book a meeting on there with Todd.
Absolutely.
And if you're in IT and struggling with marketing, check out manageprospectingsystem.com. Until next time, I'm Jim Punzenberger. Stay bold, stay sharp, and keep pushing the envelope.
That's right. Bye.
Bye for now.